ever had fluctuating weight gain that people have commented on the way you look? Have you ever been judged just for being you? Have you ever wondered why the society we live in today values being slim more than accepting all shapes and sizes? Do you think body positivity is more than just a size issue? Do you think we as men and women need to own who we are, no matter what our age and size? If the answer to any of these questions are yes, then this episode is for you. Hi, and welcome to Dose of Inspirational Light. In this episode, I'm inviting a very, very, very special friend of mine who is amazingly warm and she is very witty. But more than that, she is a plus-size model and a body positivity influencer with over 50,000 Instagram followers. And she's even got her blue tick. That's pretty special, in my opinion. She's an ambassador that brings culture, fashion, positivity, entrepreneurship into a force for good. Let's meet this amazing icon, find out more about what she represents and the why behind everything she stands for. She has won many awards, including Mrs. Globe Curve Australia 2022, Mrs. United Nations World 2019, Mrs. Southeast Asia India winner 2018, Mrs. Talented India Worldwide 2017. There are so many accolades under her belt that I'm very excited to talk to her and meet her. I hope you are too. So let's give a warm welcome and invite my good friend, Sarita. Sarita, hello.
Oh, hey.
I'm so excited to talk to you.
What a great introduction. Likewise. I'm pretty excited.
Thank you, Sarita. So, Sarita, let's get into what the audience wants to talk about, which is you and everything you represent and all the amazing work that you've done. Who is Sarita, truly?
Well, if I can call myself stereotype smasher, or
I love that.
somebody who clearly wants to set a different narrative for inclusivity, somebody who likes to live, love, dress up like a heroine. Well, I have cheated myself to believe that I am a heroine. And a person
no cheating
who is
about
high
it.
on life.
Yeah.
A mom of two. Modeling definitely is a major part of me. In the sense, as I said, I'm a plus size influencer, and I would call myself as a content creator, body advocate, if we can say so. And we own a business, profession wise. I'm from the accounts background. I've always been a commerce person from Bombay. Plus, being in Australia and, always very open towards multiculturalism and, vibing it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Sarita, you said you're a plus size model, body influencer, and I loved what you said, breaking the stereotypes. That was my favorite line so far. So, in a world environment where being slim and fit it's in the newspapers, it's on social media, it's on every channel that we switch on. Media hype about being fit, being slim, being this stereotypical model kind. You've made a very, very bold move. This takes a lot of courage. So what made you come into this direction?
Right. What I think is I wanted to create the change that I wanted to see. And basically, I manifested it from a very young age because I've personally gone through it. So I think that is what kept me going towards my goal because I couldn't see a single representation of my body type in any of the magazines or any of the, fashion um, forefront channels. So I think that is what led me to this kind of a path.
If I could take you back to your childhood, did you always wanted to become a model?
I actually come from a very typical South Indian family, and I don't know if you're aware of it. Like South India still has a big fad about being, plumpy or voluptuous um, figure, and I was always celebrated as a chubby child in my, younger days. So, in fact, I remember my parents telling me that they were approached by FairX. I don't know if you remember during 1980s, it was a baby food which was very popular,
Right.
and even they approached my parents for some advertisement or so. So growing up like as a child, it was something, nothing more than cuteness and chubby baby. But things change when you're a teenager, isn't it? So that's when all this started, I guess.
Yeah. So you were a big baby and known as cute, and then the teenage years hit. What happened then? What happened during your teenage years? Were you
um
bullied? Were you
Right. Not as in, because when I think during that time, in that era, it was all about this fashion thing being in the limelight.
Yes.
And my dad used to work for Lakme. So for me, again, fashion kind of runs in the DNA because Lakme is still known as the face of, India's beauty pageants and runways and, you name it. So maybe it came a bit earlier than it was meant to be. And this thing, the feeling of seeing myself as a model or walking the ramp, but not actually getting an opportunity to get through. I had even auditioned a couple of times, so but that time, there was no such zone or segment wherein the plus size models were not even considered as a part of, it was always the standard some beauty norms that were set, and I definitely didn't fit in that kind of a statistics. So I wasn't bullied as such, I would say, but yes, somewhere I grew up with this low esteem that no, I can never be a model or I will never fit into that kind of a pattern ever.
Mm,
I
mm,
was made to believe that
mm,
me and fashion.
mm,
they-
mm. So what happened then?
this thing came into me wherein I was in a absolute low and kind of crisis of all sorts, of identity crisis, I would say, of all sorts. So that's what happened. And then there is this media or this organizers, I wouldn't want to quote any of the names, but they approached me. That was few years back, and I wouldn't want to call it as a plus size segment, but yes, the inclusivity segment, if I can put it across that way, was something that was new then, and but still I was given an opportunity to participate, and I still remember I was the only plus size competing against other 11 contestants who were size 0. So yeah, that just boosted my morale and confidence to a next level, because I thought if I can do it here, then I can smash it anywhere else. Because to compete against uh a typical model figure, Barbie doll figured girls, against a healthy Barbie version wasn't that easy step, but hey, I did it. And
Yeah.
yes, that was the start of all.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Being Indian, I know I could say from personal experience that talking about one's weight is a very common pastime, you know. So we have friends of family who we politely call aunties and uncles, and there's always a comment on a weight. You know, you look, you know, you've gained weight, or it's just a common pastime, and it's just such a simple way of putting it into a conversation that, you know, they don't even realize that it's a very sensitive topic for some people. Like, you know, it was sensitive for me, you know, if I could say it that way. So were there such comments that you also grew up with?
Oh, yes, of course. But I really wonder why. Because I feel like the Indian body types are the most, curvy and voluptuous types. So I really wonder why we Indian have this fixation of, involving or getting this body image. It is a sort of greeting for us.
Yes.
Even before we greet each other, uh, okay, it's either ways. If you lose weight, then again it's a thing. Oh, maybe there's some problem, there are some issues. You are kind of judged on the basis of your body weight, which is very sad to say, and especially we should not be doing it,
Yeah.
because it's in our DNA. Majority of the Indian women, I think they fit around size 14 to 16. That is a realistic body type. But
Yes.
still, all of them invariably have to, face a sort of body shaming at whatever level in their life. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes the sad part is it comes from a very near and dear family as well, you know.
Tell
So
me about it.
and yeah, and
Yeah.
that's hard. It always strikes me, you know, like why? And then it becomes so common that you
Mm,
see children picking it up. And you
yes.
know, you want to break that bias, you want to break that cycle. It has to stop this
Mm, mm,
and this is
mm.
why I'm you know, talking to you about this now, and
Yeah,
hopefully
of
inspiring
course. It
awareness.
it is. See, actually, if we go to see people with a very legit mindset, they wouldn't have this irrelevant thing, when they meet you. But it is few of them who really want to bog you down, or maybe want to make you feel poorly.
Mm,
So I think I am in that space of life wherein all these things just doesn't matter to me anymore.
yes.
People's opinion doesn't matter, but yes, my opinion about myself is louder than anything else. And I think when you come to that kind of a mindset, then you can say that you are an empowered woman. That's what I feel.
Yeah. Oh, very well put. It's amazing how our mind controls everything, and it's
Mm,
so important
yeah,
to be kind.
yeah.
Please be kind to yourself. I'm learning to be kind to myself, but you know, I'm not there yet. Haven't got Sarita's confidence yet, but I hope through this interview,
Get
maybe
there,
the
you'll get
confidence will come.
there.
Good. So, how did you actually feel growing up listening to these comments?
Right. Growing up, I still, if I could go back in time, and if I could change uh that bit of me, if I was not a people pleaser, if I could have been a bit more thick-skinned and a bit more outspoken, then maybe I could have made some amount of difference. Uh, because yeah, whichever zone and space I'm today, I'm pretty very comfortable and very happy. But yes, it was different as a teenager, or when I was in the college days. It was a total different game for me. And still to come through it, and people like actually comparing you with their daughters, and again making you feel that, what do you think, how you think that, for your marriage, this thing, this thing has to suit you well, but hey, you have gained a bit of weight, and then so all those things definitely in your subconscious mind. And because those are the days wherein you're very productive, you are looking for, you're dreaming of something, and then things like this makes you kind of, you're very vulnerable, isn't it? So it was not easy.
No,
It was not easy, but I always, I thank my family, and also I think my um, mental strength, that it didn't it didn't bother me to such an extent that it would have changed my persona. No, it didn't. So that way I'm lucky enough.
yeah, that's amazing, Sarita, because, growing up in a world where, you have 99% of the people going in one direction, and you saying, no, I had the mental strength for it not to impact me, that takes a very powerful, as you said, empowered person. And so, yeah, very big congratulations to you for
Thank you.
having that persona. That's okay, so next question would be, if just off that bat, in a society, and I've just touched upon it, in a society where being slim is the ultimate goal, did you try any fad diets or any extreme measures to fit in, so to speak? And the reason I ask that is, because there's keto, there's intermittent diet, there's all sorts of pills these days. I mean, you go into the market, it's galore of things. So just wondered if you were pressured into that
Tell me
direction.
about it. Like 50% of my friend requests on social media are from this Weight Watchers, and fitness, yeah, if they call themselves as fitness coach or whatever. And the sad part is, unfortunately, I also fell a prey to this kind of bogus claims. And it was so extreme, with extreme food limitations, that I had a severe side effect, to an extent that I was rushed to the hospital because I actually started peeing blood.
Oh my God, what was it? Pills?
Yes. Uh, I wasn't pills. I'm a person. I'm even scared to take analgesic, even for a simple headache or even tummy ache. All those monthly cycles. Even then, I avoid all these kind of medications. But I don't know what someone person from Sydney, and she's still doing the business. And sadly, she wasn't even uh, anyone closer to this fraternity of being a nutritionist or anything of that sort. Still, she had the audacity to convince me enough, and I would say I was just brainwashed, and I said yes to it. And then I was on almost uh, 10 to 12 pills a day, like
Oh my
2
God.
pills before food, 3 pills after food. And to my surprise and shock, I was losing weight also. So in initial 2 weeks, I lost around 4 kgs. So that was very tempting. And so once you start losing weight, you are kind of addicted to it. You kind of start believing in that regime. I was then loaded with more capsules, to such an extent that I was abusing my body. And I was rushed to the hospital. I had acute tummy ache. And then the doctor there said that my body has been highly detoxified. There is a level, of detoxification which I've surpassed long back, and to an extent that the amount of uric acid in my blood has gone beyond the normal, you know, levels. And it's kind of almost on the verge to damage my kidney. Yes. And that is how badly, I was a victim to all this. And ever since that, I I keep on telling people, and this was a big brand. Of course, I don't want to quote it. I sadly, people are still consuming their medicines or whatever they call it. I feel sad that they don't even have a proper authorized channel wherein you can rely on their sort of medication, because when I contacted the representative and later on I got to know she is just doing it as a passion, as a extra income for her, but she is definitely not the right person to advise somebody based on their body needs and requirements. But I was new to it, and sadly, this is what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a pity that we cannot actually, warn the viewers about this company. But I think in terms of advice, I guess we would just tell them to please be careful, do their due diligence before they go into any of these fad diets and fad pills. Right?
That is definitely, fat diets are definitely not a long run or permanent solution. Once you stop it, you're going to be in a double worst form, I would say, than your original weight. Plus, your body organs, you don't know how badly you're hampering them as well.
Yeah.
So I definitely not, would not advise anybody rather to get into all these kind of weight loss schemes, and then, you know, get permanently addicted to their regime and their supplements, which they claim to be uh, multivitamins and blah blah blah. They say it's very herbal, but end of the day, the vitals, the body vitals, it has a different, every body has a different constitution and a different um, mechanism, and you can't generalize any single pattern that would work for one and all. So I definitely doesn't. I don't endorse, or I was offered couple of endorsement as well, because being a plus size model, it gets easier to gain the kind of attention that's needed in this sector. But I strongly deter from this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important. For me, I mean, as I mentioned before, my body image has always been an issue. Sometimes not fitting into that perfect mode of being slim and size whatever 0 to 5, even size 8, whatever it is. Like the society with being slim kind of determines that that's your worth. So for me, I felt like not fitting that mold made me an imposter. So what about you? Did you feel ever imposter syndrome?
Others have made me feel that, I'm not good enough. In fact, I still remember a couple of photographers, because when I started this few years back, they were not, it was not, it was something different from the usual norm to see a, hatti katti healthy model to, and I was called for a couple of advertisements, and I was playing a muse, and to their plus size clothing line, which was just newly introduced. And I still remember this particular photographer telling me that your plumpy face, or maybe if you could have looked more chiseled, and with the strong jawline, makes a lot of difference. So that's the reason, I'm trying to get a good photo of you. But so why don't you consider to lose few kilos, and then we plan a shoot. And he was also ready to advise me few Weight Watchers or whomever. Yes, so this definitely this problem has been there ever since, and I think even I'm facing it even now. I remember when I won Mrs. United Nations, I posted my photo in my page, and I've had emojis of it wasn't a joke. It was about somebody's accomplishments. Somebody has achieved something, but I could see a lot of laughter emojis and comments, or maybe haters or trollers, whomever. They were like, you won a pageant, you won this. Little do they know that United Nation is, firstly, the banners which I'm associated to is majority of the time not fashion centric. They are more kind of cause driven and related to social welfare. Of course, fashion is a part of it, but I wouldn't say that that is the main focus. And I like to associate with those kind of banners only which support my movement of body positivity. So yeah, but then, I've come to the stage, I've outgrown all that thinking and that insecurities. I've come to a point wherein I'm at ease with my body, and I feel that who are they to judge what I'm worthy enough, of? I know my worth, and I know my purpose. I know what goal I've set for myself, and I'm very happily working towards it. And I'm getting there. Bit slowly, but yes, surely I'm there.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, 50,000 followers and a blue tick, if that's getting there, you're
That's
definitely.
all thanks to the pageants that I have participated. And yes, the viewers, I took them very lightly initially. In fact, the reason for me to get into social media is itself the viewers and their response. When I first went to the pageant, where I said that, I have told you that I was one of the only plus size models. I would say real size. I don't want to again and again use the word plus size.
Yeah, it's
The
normal.
curvy. I was the only curvy amongst the size zeros. Exactly. So when I, of course, I knew even before joining, I had brain conditioned myself that, of course, Sarita, you're not going to win the pageant. And this I'm talking about is few years back, which didn't out and out have this curvy segments. So I was one amongst the other models, and of course, I didn't fit the normal body statistics that was meant for a fashion show or beauty pageants. So when I got this trophy of Mrs. Talented, of course, it was surely because of the talent that I had. And there was this round wherein we were asked to perform. And sadly, everybody had the body statistics. Everybody was in that following the size zero trend, but nobody had the guts to showcase their or perform whatever talents they had. So I think the judges were so um, they were really happy to see me having the guts, and I performed well, and that's why they decided, to maybe, give me that title of Mrs. Talented. So I really owned it. And that's why when I got the trophy, I was happy. I was somewhere content that what I aimed for, I got it. But I didn't put it across as a big achievement, then. Yeah. So, the kind of acceptance and how people were receptive about not so normal kind of body sized person participating in the pageant was very uplifting. And yes, that was a game changer for me.
It's amazing, isn't it? When people get behind you, you know, can reach all the heights. So for all the viewers listening, please be kind, you know, and look beyond the size. There's so much talent that we've all got.
Yes, in my case, I would truly and clearly want to, give it to the viewers, because if it was not for them, um, there are like few known people from the known circle, who have gone to an extent that they have tried to cross check my achievements. They have called me discussing that, are you sure that you have won this? Cross checking me. And kind of, so there are those kind of, and surprisingly, that would be somebody from your known circle as well. But the viewers, the followers, there are few, people who have been in my list in my Facebook, and then I see them on my other social media platforms, and all their words, and they kind of look upon to you. They kind of, I've had a couple of encounters wherein ladies have messaged me saying that, kind of, we have lost all the body confidence, like after a couple of deliveries we are dealing with this postpartum depression, or maybe the stretch marks, or those extra flabby tires around your waistline. And it looks very like I scared to see myself in the mirror. And that kind of uh, mind frame, from coming from there to see me in the fashion world, or see me wearing any kind of modern dresses, and not trying to hide those extra protruding part and being my own self, they really look upon to that. And that change, if I'm able to get in even a single person, then
Yes.
it makes a big difference, I feel, because body image is something which is very sensitive, which is still considered to be a taboo or a stigma to even discuss about.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's
No.
a great feat to conquer.
And you're doing an amazing job. I mean, I've had the privilege of attending 2 events with you in it. And, you know, that inspiration is there. You can see people's eyes, and, you know, it can go, if she can do it, we can also dress up sexily, no matter what
Yeah.
our body shape is. And that's awesome. So I commend you, and here you are talking about it. So thank you very much again. for
Thank you, Shika.
We've been speaking a little bit offline, and I want to actually talk to you about something you've mentioned before, and the viewers probably don't know about it yet. But we talked about an identity crisis. At the start, when you started this journey, you talked about an identity crisis. With your career, you mentioned that you were in accounting, and you also mentioned offline to me that you've been in sales, and you've got your own business. So why did you, apart from your dad and this desire to work in modeling, why did you feel like you needed a different identity when you have chosen a path of accounting, career, sales, you know, having your own business in finance, etc.?
Right. Now, coming to the point, business, yes, I and my husband, I'm kind of co-founder, co-director. And initially, yes, we both started it together, and there was much more involvement. But being a woman, being a mom, some roles are inevitable in your life. And I think raising kids and stuff like that, definitely it took a backseat. The career point of view took a backseat in my case. And I think how much ever we contribute as a woman, uh, you know, managing the house and juggling between the work front and the family and stuff like that, whatever we put in, sometimes I feel it's a bit unfair, but yes, things go unnoticed, or your involvement goes overshadowed by many other things. So I didn't feel that I'm any less of a contributor to our business. But there was this day when I still remember I got a call from a media agency, and they actually thought of covering our company story, because we had a business, and they planned to make a cover story of it. And I was very elated. I thought of being a part of it. And, I was very, because I never had, even right from the start, I never had any stage fear. So, I would be always up there. So I didn't even have that in my mind that, oh, maybe, I will not be a part of it. I took it for granted that, yes, of course, the cover story means it has to be my husband and me, both of us together. But the media people seem to be a bit hesitant about it. And they were kind of, we would love for you to join, in that very plastic way. But the only thing is, do you have any achievements for yourself? Kind of, they were disregarding. They were very conveniently wanting to avoid my presence, and I got the pulse of it. And they were like, if you would have got any titles or anything specifically, then we could also add you in the story. Or at the moment, because your husband is the main owner, we would only kind of, if you don't mind, want to cover his part of, whatever staying. And that kind of, struck me hard. Yeah. And that's when I realized that, yes, this is what is identity crisis, and I need to work on it.
And yeah, look at you now, having your own.
I mean, I ensured those media people came to me asking for my time and availability in the future. But yes, that is a different story. But yes, I feel that I should be thanking them.
Yes.
They don't know still how important was that,
Yes.
yeah. Sometimes, you don't realize, but nature has its own way of, knocking
Yes.
at you, and kind of, so I think that was much needed then.
Yes.
It was very heartbreaking, and it made me feel very blue. But having said that, it helped me to achieve far more than,
Yes.
what I thought. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I always say in my inspirational quotes, etc., each rejection is a redirection.
Yeah.
And each time you're rejected, and the person that rejects you, whatever the rejection is, doesn't have to be severe. If it impacts you, it means it's a calling from a universe that you need to do better. And there is something else out there that is calling you. And
Absolutely. I'm a strong believer of that.
yes,
Yes.
and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, that's amazing, amazing story. So
Yeah,
despite,
life is so good.
so despite all of these challenges, there must have also been some kind of self-confidence, self-belief, issues as well in this story for you to pursue modeling, so to speak.
I think, I have never suppressed my emotions, and I think I always had a strong community connect. Thanks to my parents, like as a child also, they have always put me in different kind of extracurricular activities, say maybe a drama, dancing. So I was always there at the forefront, and that kept me going. So I never had this feeling of inconfidence, or as I said, what others spoke about me didn't really matter to me, but my own happiness, I would always choose it above others. So that is still keeping me going. I know there would be many people or many, maybe your known ones or maybe your relatives who still think that what is she up to? What is she gaining out of all these things, But everything can't be about gaining, or everything can't be in that black and white. There is something that you do for your personal satisfaction,
Yes.
and I think that drive in me and that passion, that kept me going.
Yes, yes. And it's amazing. I mean, every title that you get, every pageant that you participate in is a testament to your strength, because you're there, you're showcasing yourself, you're showing that drive and that determination, and you're winning titles. So that's that's amazing. So Sarita, when you decided to pursue, modeling as a career, were your friends and family supportive? Were there any comments then made by your close network? For example, your mom, your husband, I mean, were they all behind you to do what you wanted to do?
Right. I think if you ask me about my parents, they would have considered this has to be a passing fancy. They wouldn't have ever expected that, at this stage of life, like, come to think of it, I entered, though I always had this desire, but times were different then. So I was never into modeling, or I even didn't get a single opportunity to do any kind of modeling then.
Mm.
But yes, later in my life, when I was a mother of two, I was already 35 plus, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have visualized it that way. And they definitely didn't see a clear picture of what is coming my way. But nonetheless, they have all accepted me with open arms when it comes to my family. They have been my backbone, and they have supported me throughout. And I've had a lot of international travelings in between, and my kids were young. And, pageants are not that easy as, it seems to be. It needs a lot of groundwork, a lot of preparation that goes into it. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without my parents' support. In fact, all my international pageants, whenever I've been abroad, my parents have ensured to come from India and give me that moral boost, because then I'm at peace with myself that, right, my family is well taken care of, my kids are taken care of, they're fed well. So, that's kind of an energizer. It
Yeah.
works when you are in the pageant kind of an environment wherein you are, how much ever you say, that's passion, why would it stress you up? But any kind of a competition gives you some kind of a psychological trigger, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes, of course. You're still competing and you're still putting yourself out there. Confidence is one thing, but there is work behind it and a lot of planning, What to wear is number one. What am I going to
Oh,
wear?
yes. Like, it comes with several rounds,
Yes.
several themes, and again, when you have this kind of a body pattern, it's very hard for you to get that ideal kind of a wear that you would want to see yourself in. So then there is a lot of, customization that happens, and a lot of uh, mind work as well, if I can say so. So yes, it's not possible without your family support. They they have to be involved in every aspect of it, and may it, I would say, may it be logically, or maybe the sensitivity, everything is needed when it comes to a pageant, because pageant is something that you're more towards giving, you are more towards the giving front rather than receiving. It is for the community,
Mm.
and to have that kind of a mindset, it's not easy. I think, any kind of cause-driven pageants are
Yes.
more kind of philanthropy.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of your pageants, transporting you back to your very first pageant, what were you feeling? Here you are walking down the runway, beating all odds, breaking stereotypes. What was going through your mind?
The first feeling was definitely, as I told you, my first ever pageant was not like the normal ones that I had later, because later on I mostly got associated with the curvy segments, wherein I had my similar looking co-contestants. So, that was much more kind of comfortable scenario for me. The first one was something wherein I was the only, um, uh, in fact, I was the only pool model. I was the only pool model in that inclusive segment, which out and out only had size zero models. And I categorically remember the fact that there was a judge. She is pretty known face in the Bollywood, and she was kind of amazed seeing my confidence, because despite being a curvy, full-figured woman, I had the guts to uh, wear the swimsuit and carry it with no vulgarity or obscenity, but yes, with aplomb. So I think to get it from her made a big difference in my confidence. And I was like, if I can do it here, then, other shows are just going to be like a cakewalk.
And you did it, yeah. But Sarita, Mrs. Talented, Mrs. Vivacious, Mrs. Curve, all these titles, they've all got this,
Hmm.
plus
Hmm.
titles in them.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, do you think names such as these titles, I mean, do they provide like equity for all models? I mean, why can't we just have modeling? Why does it have to be Mrs. Curve model? Or, I mean, why are there different titles in the first place? What do you think about those?
Right. I think these titles, or whatever you may call it, uh, I don't think that it is kind of making you any higher or superior, or it is not for per se labeling or ranking. But I think that's a validation that has been given to me for my hard work,
Yes.
right? So these titles actually kind of help me to be recognized in my local community, in say different countries. In fact, I'm able to make so many amazing connections around the globe.
That's amazing. Are people finally learning to accept all shapes and sizes? It's such a strange thing to even think about, because all shapes and sizes have always existed, but are they finally accepting it on the runway, at the pageants, in the modeling world, or is it still a taboo topic when they see a bigger size model?
Right. Even though in this day and age, married plus size women are setting new trends and are slowly becoming, the runway walkers, or they are included in red carpet and also magazine covers. But I still feel that anytime, any day, a slim fit figure or a woman is more kind of dominating the fashion industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sad, but it gets.
the change is happening, but it is very slow. It is very slow and steady, I think. But at least, people are accepting the fact that um this kind of body pattern is more realistic, more relatable, and more practical. That acceptance is definitely there. And the fact that a lot of clothing lines have introduced this plus size segment or a curvy segment. And that itself is a proof that, yes, we are getting there, and the positive shift is happening at a slow pace. But yes, 2023 definitely has some, I think, has some major um, acceptance
Yes.
for
Change.
for the curvies, yeah,
Yeah.
for the change.
Yeah, yeah. A lot has changed actually. If I reflect the FIFA Women's World Cup, I know I'm digressing topics, but you know,
Yeah, no,
women
but yes,
and
yes, we
even
can
women's
see.
cricket
Yeah,
now,
it was
T20.
like initially our kind of species were not existing in all those um, areas, but now the change is pretty evident and pretty positive uh, for
Yeah.
for any kind of women to be proud of.
Yes, exactly. And you know, and you're part of it. You are that advocate for change. So that's awesome. You're creating history, you know, and people, little girls out there, you know, they whatever it is, they will grow up in a world where there's a bit more equity, a bit more equitable, a bit
Yeah.
more equal.
More
And they can do
inclusivity.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's good.
mm.
So yeah. Okay. How many shows have you done now? And
All right. Like the thing is, I even do pageants, as I told you.
yes.
Uh, Pageants, I think I've done 4 to 5 pageants. And runways, yeah, I've done fashion shows. I have fashion shows coming up, and I have done runways, fashion walks for different banners, different brands. But pageant wise, 4 of them,
Hmm.
um, which actually gave me more definition
Mm,
to my achievements, and yeah, more titles,
yes.
crowns,
Yes.
you know, that upliftment is needed timely, time and again
Yeah.
to,
Yeah. Oh, good.
to,
And what if I could ask you, what's your favorite memory out of all of those four pages as an example? What would you say? What,
my favorite memory was the one, as I told you, that when I saw a celebrity judge actually taking interest in my kind of a profile. Um and the best part of all these pageants are actually you are kind of um giving it back to the community. So there is a sense of, there is immense satisfaction. And when people like message me and text me that you're doing a good job, and you make us feel like we are beautiful, and you make us embrace ourselves, I think that feeling is to a next level that can't be compared with any kind of crowning or any kind of titles. I think that feeling makes me much more happier and content.
yeah, no, awesome. So I've worked as head of diversity and inclusion, and we look at the definition of diversity and inclusion usually from a workplace point of view. And of
Hmm.
course, diversity exists in the world. You know, we we have
Yeah.
so many nationalities and everything. It's right there.
Yeah.
And we are accepting being global citizens. Yet for some reason, in the beauty world, for some reason, I'm not sure why, we
Hmm.
have not accepted plus size models.
Hmm.
Do you think we should widen the definition of beauty?
I feel like people should be more sensitive and have more awareness about inclusivity and representation of even this kind of body types in any kind of magazines or fashion world, because fashion should not be only restricted to women within, this particular size or shape. I think if a woman is expected to give birth to a new life, to bear children, her body is going through a lot of changes. That's happening at every stage of life. That acceptance and that realistic approach should be done towards the fashion world.
For sure. I mean, comparisons always seem to exist, whatever it is, you're always compared, especially as I don't want to stereotype, but as an Asian child, you're always, there's always a comparison saying, why can't you be more like your neighbor? Or why can't you be more like your cousin? There's always a comparison. How do we stop this comparison mindset? Like, what is it, the change that needs to happen in today's world in terms of conditioning of people's mindset so that we can stop this comparison mindset?
Like, I have a different take in this. Like, I believe in healthy comparison. I think that I thrive under, that kind of a pressure. Of course, it has to be healthy, because I'm still not in full acceptance of myself, because I think the day when I do that, I will be very content and I will stop growing. So I'm happy as long as, the comparison is not very harsh on me. And as I said, for me, others' opinions only matter to an extent wherein it's helping me to evolve and progress. But the minute there's a thin line when you are compared, and there are many instances wherein out of comparison I've derived many positive points, and I've got different dimensions to uh, my set of ideas. And I've said, I could set goals because of that kind of comparison. So I would say it's needed, but yes, not to such an extent that that lowers your self-esteem, and it kind of becomes very nagging that we as a parent, or maybe from the side of world that we belong to, uh, it is very prominent. Yes, yes. So yeah, I would consider it that way.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So what advice would you like to give other boys and girls, women, men out there today who want to pursue a certain dream, but for whatever reason, whether it's the comparison mindset or vulnerability or just not potentially fitting into the mold, cannot pursue that dream? So what would you like to tell them?
uh I think to be, I think for all those girls or boys who dream big, um, I always would like to say that to be an achiever, you need to have that go-getter mentality. Um, like you don't you don't have to get affected by what people talk about you, or don't let them bog you down, especially if you want to be a model or an influencer in this segment. to break all the barriers and to break all the barriers of this world that has been existing from long, and to prove your point needs some amount of confidence. So uh, confidence is like your attire. So you have to always consider that that is something that you're wearing. You have to rock it with style, and you have to carry it with pride. And when you do that, you will see changes are automatically happening. And if you value yourself, others will value you too. But if you have low image of yourself in your own eyes, that clearly emits from your body language. Right? So I think confidence is the key.
Yeah. So for everybody listening, just go out there, pursue those dreams. Don't worry about what other people think, because what they think is none of your business. You know, you have to break those niches. Let's be like Sarita, break those biases. And, you know, I mean, she's the living testament that things can be done, and things can be done really well. And you just have to take that first step to break that niche and to get into whatever you want to do. Go for it. I just want to ask you a little bit of a sensitive topic. Sorry that it's something that perhaps is sensitive, but it must be asked. Do you think plus size models promote unhealthy living?
No, absolutely not. Because I don't think body positivity um, gives you an excuse to compromise on your lifestyle choices. You know, uh, in fact, whenever we talk about this subject, I feel that the conversation should always maneuver around your fitness and mindful eating again. uh, See, there is no such rule like if you are of this particular weight, you definitely have some kind of a disease or ailment, or if you are a size 0, or if you are that slim figure, you will never ever have any kind of diseases. There is no hard and fast rule. But what I believe is uh, being comfortable in your own skin and having a mindful, positive approach towards your life uh, emits that kind of good hormones. And, they play a very important role. If you are deliberately trying to be of certain size and trying to fit in, to certain category, and, you are going to any level wherein you are sort of abusing your body knowingly or unknowingly, is definitely unhealthy living for me. Than to, have right amount of food, no stress levels or no baggages, added to your mind, saying that, see, food is something um, that has to be enjoyed, you know. Uh, don't make yourself starve and, make your body so stressed up that, it affects you adversely. So when we say plus size models, or when we say body positivity, many of them take it as a green signal to have whatever they want, and to, gain weight, or maybe any those kind of thinking. I'm not encouraging that at all. But at the meantime, I'm saying is, don't be so harsh on yourself that, you forget to enjoy food, and that just becomes like you know, a forced compulsion, or a, you know, compelling scenario for you. That's not a right thing to happen. Enjoy your food, embrace yourself, and be happy in whatever body constitution that you have been gifted with. Having a healthy mind and a healthy body, and above all, a right frame of mind. Like mentally, you have to be fit. So mental health is again a very important thing. Um, irrespective of whatever your body type is, if you're not mentally happy, as I said, when I was competing against the all size zeros, none of them were happy with their bodies either. They were complaining about bloating. Many of them opted not to wear the swimming costume just because that particular day they felt that there was a kind of flatulence. So I think that is being too harsh on yourself. You don't have to be so obsessed with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, let go of things
Yeah.
and be content and happy with whatever you're eating. Have no regrets post that,
Yes.
because that regrets are only going to emit negative energy and those bad hormones that is not going to do any good on you.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah.
I really don't feel that body positivity is anywhere encouraging unhealthy living.
No, that makes sense, and it's a very, very good way that you have answered that question. Where do you actually shop? Like, if people want motivations to dress up sexily and wear whatever they feel like, where do you shop?
Right. I'm honestly not a brand freak. So I just shop a lot. That's it. So anything starting from Kmart, Target, or you name it, if I like it, I buy it. And yes, people who want to look more sexy, please follow me on Instagram. Or if you relate your body type to mine, because keep experimenting. And yes, Pinterest is my to-go place if I need that last minute inspiration for dressing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for you, with all the titles and competitions that you're winning, you must have a lot of clothes that are sponsored as well. Is that right?
Yes, I've been lucky enough to always have good amount of supporters and many designers who have supported me in the past. For all my pageants, most of my dresses get sponsored, but not all of them always. But I'm lucky enough. Yes,
Yeah.
there are sponsors who are willingly and happily doing it since many years now.
Yeah. So one day we have to do a shopping trip with Sarita from Kmart to Target to H&M to wherever, and we'll get to.
Yes, as long as it smoothens my, midsection, I'm happy with the dress.
Yeah. So watch this space. Maybe a shopping trip with Sarita coming up. Sarita, do you get any movie offers or any advertisement offers?
Well, I do get, and I definitely aspire to be one. But yeah, family commitments have been holding me back. But yeah, whenever the time is right and the opportunity is right, and if I get, a strong character to play, why not? It will happen.
Yes,
Fingers.
definitely. What you seek is seeking you, my favorite quote. So,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there it goes.
it's all about the timing. It will
Yeah.
happen. I like to conclude any interview by playing the rapid fire round. But before we play the rapid fire round, I just want to ask you any parting thoughts that you might have.
Right. Yes, I would leverage my influence to promote understanding and awareness of self-love and body confidence. I hope this interview should go down in history books. So, words of wisdom coming your way. Don't wait to lose weight or until your life is just picture perfect to make changes. Pursue your dreams right now. Now is the time. All right. Yes, an absolute honor to be in your podcast, Shikha. And wait, are we coming to the rapid fire round?
In that true fashion of concluding Dose of Inspirational Light podcast, this is a quick rapid fire round to get to know Sarita. So, Sarita, tea, coffee, what's your preference?
Tea any day. Tea.
Tea? Tea anytime.
Tea, yes.
Herbal tea or just black, like Indian masala tea?
Masala, ginger wala, adrak wala chai.
Ginger tea. So, beach or mountains?
Not a very adventurous sort, but yes, mountains more. Like that gives me nice Instagrammable, background. So yeah.
It's about the content.
Yeah, exactly. See, saga of any content creator, I would say.
Yes. Books or movies?
Yeah, movies anytime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or favorite movie?
Movie, I like Jab We Met. I like Three Idiots, those kind of movies.
Easy movies, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Favorite quote? Because, Dose of Inspirational Light is all about inspiration for people. If you could leave us with some favorite quote that
I
inspires.
think I did mention it, but I'll repeat it. Like, confidence is your best attire. Rock it with style, carry it with pride.
I love it.
Okay.
Favorite season, Sarita?
Spring, winter, autumn, but not summer.
Okay. It's interesting. A lot of people love summer. It's the other way around. Any favorite color? And you're rocking in red and white today.
Yeah, I think this week my theme has been red and white most of the time, but my favorite color is green.
Which kind of green? Like green behind my backdrop?
Bottle green. Yeah, any sort of green like bottle, olive, but
Love.
not neon as such.
Yes. Any hobbies?
Content creation. I have a very thematic mind. So I like interior designing, to present anything in a very beautiful way.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sarita, for joining me today. Really appreciate all your time and big hugs to you. And thank you for all your love and being here today.
Thanks for having me at your podcast, and it was a sheer pleasure to unleash myself, the real me.
You did very well.